Hello and welcome to another update video about ICP. Situation hasn't really changed on this chart. We are still holding support for now. Absolutely no problem. In fact, we've actually only just reached the support area. Yesterday we've seen a small reaction to support, but the support area goes all the way down to 695. That is how much space we need to give ICP. Now, at the moment, a lot of you are requesting ICP updates. Let's see how long it stays interesting. From experience, once a support level breaks, it typically gets less interesting. From experience, I can tell you that. Less people will ask for updates. You need to understand from whatever you do here that I'm not amazed by this chart. Okay, so I'm tracking a bullish structure here, but that's only because we've broken above the trend line, but we haven't even broken above standard resistance. Now I have to say it because we're getting a lot of new viewers. This resistance area is my best assumption. It's an unreliable chart because it's a lifetime downtrend. I haven't really got a very reliable level to measure that resistance area from. The only level that is sort of reliable is this one. But typically I need to start the count up there. But because different exchanges show me a different start point, it is impossible to say where exactly I need to start. So this resistance area could in fact be much higher. So take it with a pinch of salt. You know, it could even be up there, $200. I mean, I just need you to understand that this is an unreliable chart. So we might need to see a few wave count adjustments along the way. Nevertheless, I obviously focus on what a lot of you are asking for. Always need to balance reliable charts with subscriber and member requests. Okay, can't take too many request charts because a lot of them are unreliable, short chart history, lifetime downtrends, things like that. But on the other hand, we want to obviously make focus on what you want to see as well, what you want to watch. And yeah, again, you know, there is a bearish wave count, there is a bearish scenario, and in this bearish scenario, we have 5 waves to the downside. That means we just need to be on the side of caution. Doesn't mean it will go to zero, but means the risk is definitely there, and the risk is higher than on than with cryptos that have a solid uptrend chart. Okay, ICP has to prove it. You know, manipulation, whatever. You know, doesn't matter. You know, the chart speaks a clear language. We've got an impulse down, and that just has an impact on sentiment. Now, that doesn't mean it couldn't go to all-time highs or it couldn't form an impulse. It absolutely can, but it needs to prove it first. And that's what we're tracking with this yellow wave count, which is the 5-wave move up. Just be aware it could easily form here an ABC structure. But even then, which is the bearish count, it could extend a lot because, as I said, you know, I haven't got a reliable start. So just be aware of that. Don't seek absolute precision in this chart. We need to stay on a higher level. And the levels of resistance that are next are $10.46, which the price has already respected. The next one afterwards would be $15.74, $23.68, and then $42.36. Ultimately, what's more important than the actual price and how high it goes is the structure along the way. Because there is a bearish count, and the bearish count would mean that, well, the bearish count needs now a corrective rally, a 3-wave rally, ABC. If this is turning into a 5-wave move in the yellow count, it definitely shifts probabilities clearly towards something more bullish. But that's also not reliable because I have to start a bullish count in September. And you know what I always say about charts with a short chart history, unreliable. Okay, so you just don't have that history. We don't know, okay, do we have a larger trend that supports this assumption? We just don't. So it's a lot of, you know, deriving on sight here and taking it level by level. At the moment, both wave counts can move together. So the white wave count is the bearish one. The yellow wave count would be a bullish one. We so far can identify only 3 waves up. So of these September lows, we see 3 waves up. That could be a 3-wave move in yellow wave 1, which would need another high to form a 5-wave structure. Or it could be an ABC structure. Probably not a great place to enter a trade, in my opinion, or you can do that, but typically 1-2 setups are best. So best setup, in my opinion, that could come up here would be to see a 5-wave move play out. Yeah, that takes some patience. I'm not saying you couldn't enter here. That depends on your own risk profile. But at the moment, we only have 3 waves up, and after 3 waves, charts often fail. So it could easily come down from here. But that's why we're tracking support. So if we break below $6.95, the chart will become far less reliable. because it topped in a 3-wave structure. Ideally, for a more bullish outlook and also for a more reliable trade setup along the way, we'd like to see 5 waves up. So that's what we're basically just watching for. If that 5th wave occurs, maybe targeting around about $15.70 or $23.50 roughly, yeah, then we can work with that and we can take the measurement of this 5-wave pattern. You need to have a rough understanding of Elliott waves. So it means basically 5 waves go into the direction of the higher level trend, which means if we see 5 waves, if we can spot them, it tells us that typically this move now needs to be corrected by an ABC structure or a WXY corrective phase. So yeah, ABC as 3-wave move, 5 up, 3 down. It's the most simple form of a trend, in this case an uptrend. And we could then work with that 5-wave structure, tell us where the 3rd or where that 3-wave move ideally ends, add positions here, and then in theory, it's always easier in theory, but that's typically how it works. And then a 3rd wave rally or the C wave should take us higher. Okay, so this is sort of what would be suitable for most people. If you trade this, you're a bit of a degan, but that's okay, you know, because it can easily fail. But as long as you know that, that's okay. The probability for a failure will reduce after 5 waves up and a 3-wave pullback. Now, you need to understand there's always a balance and decision. Well, there's a decision you need to make because 5th wave can be extended. So you might need, if you prefer to wait for that reliable setup, which isn't here at the moment, you might have to wait for the price to reach $15, $24 before a pullback starts. A lot of people can't cope with that, will then FOMO in at the top. So you have to decide what you want to do. But I can only give you the levels. You know, your strategy is unique to you. Now, looking at the microstructure then, at the moment, so far, yes, support is holding. We had yesterday a first reaction to support. It was a 3-wave rally. Still, it generated a nice response. If anybody entered a position here, you could have, turned this into a 17% profit. Now, unrealistic that someone well, it's not unrealistic because typically you can add your limit orders to these fib levels, right? And then you could have just moved up your profit stop loss or taken partial profits or something like that. But essentially, we seem to be coming down deeper into this wave 4 area, which has support at $7.89 and then $6.95. Seems to me as if an ABC structure is unfolding here. So it might turn here into an ABC structure. Now that we have a bit more data, we can just add sort of a rough outline. Now this B wave might still extend, okay, so that's possible. But ultimately, it seems as if the market, also because of the 3-wave rally we had yesterday, wants to re-enter the support box. That would be confirmed with a break below $9.10. It would make it likely that the market will try to test the next fib level at $7.89, which would also be the ideal target for a 4th wave generally. So ultimately what we need to see is a first bullish reaction here to one of these fib levels and a 5-wave rally ideally. That's my update about ICP. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.